Happy Magic Monday, Collective Consciousness. This is Nicole Marie, your Astrologer and Transformation Coach, using the tools of astrology, tarot, sound healing, and ritual. And this is the weekly moon cycle forecast for April 1st to April 7th, 2019. As you know, I love working with the moon. And when I mean working, I mean having a relationship with the energy of the moon. This moon, it's not that it lives outside of me, or that it's just the moon that I look at during her monthly cycles, but there is a moon that lives inside of me and each and every one of you. The moon is the lens in which we perceive life. Therefore, by knowing the cycles of the moon, you understand which lens you're looking through. So we begin this powerful month and week with a moon in Pisces. So we just had a Aquarius moon weekend where we are exploring, searching, seeking, being with our tribe and collective. And we move into this magical Monday into a Pisces moon until Wednesday. Wednesday, the moon moves into Aries, and we will have Aries until Friday the 5th for the new moon in Aries. This is truly going to feel like a rebirth. This is when I feel spring has finally arrived. Last 2 weeks ago, when spring came, everyone was quite still under the weather. There's that full moon in Libra that really brought up a lot of old, intense conditions that had to be healed in order to move forward. Now we have this new moon in Aries, which really is going to feel like a rebirth, because April is going to be quite a month to endure. By Saturday, we'll have the moon move into Taurus until next Magic Monday. So we'll have a Taurus weekend. So Pisces moon. This is going to feel a bit of an emotional month. Pisces is ultimately the healer. It's what we've been experiencing this entire month of March, but now we're slowly trying to get out of that Piscean energy and back into our Aries, back into that fire. But Pisces taught us something. It taught us where we choose to be victims in our life and how we empower ourselves by healing those wounds, because we truly are the only ones that can heal ourselves. Yes, there's doctors, there's healers, there's light workers, there's storytellers, there's everyone in the world that can help guide you through the wound, help motivate you to face the wound, but it's truly you, my dear, that will heal it. So ultimately, these first couple of days, we'll feel a bit more emotional. Our subconscious patterns will arrive. But there is great strength in Pisces. Just because you may feel like a victim to certain things does not mean that you feel a victim in life. Pisces is powerful. Pisces is an artist. Pisces believes in something bigger than thyself, because Pisces has been all versions of thyself. So when we talk about wearing the many masks of life, Pisces has that capability to be the actor, actress upon the stage of its own life. So we're learning to be the more feminine hero. And so then by Wednesday, we have that masculine energy to kind of, so as Pisces swims through the subconscious or looks through the watercolor filter of life, it's very something where Pisces will just go into meditation or go to the blank canvas and look what wants to be created. But then we have the Aries to actually go out and do the vision. So that energy of Aries will be very strong and masculine, and I don't mean masculine as in male dominance. I mean masculine as a forward notion, that it's a direct energy. So it's fire. It's saying, I know what my worth is. I know how to achieve, and I know how to move forward. But I also want to remind us that Chiron has recently moved into Aries. So wherever this Aries new moon is hitting your house, which you can learn about during my moon scopes during the week, and you look for your rising sign, you can understand where the moon is affecting, and you'll also know where Chiron is hitting your house. So this is going to be a very powerful new moon, because not only is it trying for us to start a new beginning, this new rebirth, but it's having to face those old warrior wounds, those old wounds of, I haven't done enough in my life, I haven't achieved enough in my life, who am I to say that I am anything? And so it's going back into, how can we be compassionate to that self? How do we be compassionate to that overachiever personality within us all? And how do we really have a balance between our feminine, masculine, our giving and receiving? And then obviously the Taurus moon really wants to cultivate, to integrate, to ground what our emotional and fiery aspects brought up. So the first lens of the week is looking at, how do you heal your emotional patterning around victimhood? The rest of the week will be treated as, how do you focus your energy? How do you heal the wounds of the past through new habits, new beliefs, new identities? And by the weekend, it's really about trying to come together. You know, Taurus is ruled by Venus, which is really about following your heart's desires, not from the ego mind, not from any other place than the heart. So it gets us back into the heart, and we want to usually celebrate with others. We want to be with our friends and loved ones, and also get great time for creativity, for working on those creative projects. So the goddess that will help guide us this week is Kali, endings and beginnings. The old must be released so that new can enter. And I wanted to say that very clear. The old is being released. Not all of the old, because we're still in the same patterning of this 3D world. But there's old identities, old wounds, old things that are coming up that need to be released. You are no longer that pain. You are no longer that scared little 12-year-old that, didn't get picked on for sports, or you are still that 8-year-old that wants her mom to come back. So there's all these parts of ourselves that are asking to grow up in a way, by remembering our childlike innocence and allowing that innocence to rule our life. So what that means is, we go back to the wound in which our child self experienced it, but it's not that we're going back to change it. We're going back as our adult self saying, yo, I'm here for you. And I know maybe no one else is, but I am right now. And I know you needed it then, but I'm here for you right now. And so this is how we can integrate this childlike self. And so being more childlike actually allows us to be a better grown-up, if that makes sense. Because often it's, I have to be grown up and responsible, and you deny the childlike innocence about you. You deny the pain of the child, so it just sits there being in pain instead of allowing it to be part of your life. And when you allow the pain to be part of your life, magical things happen. It's not that you're always in pain and you're always wanting to cry or all these things. It's like, wow, I can be both in pain and in bliss and in happiness in every single moment. To live more of a magical life, you are aware of past, present, future in every moment. And I know that sounds very overwhelming, and there's the new age, ideology about just be in the moment, don't think about the future or the past, but that's not how life works. That is not how cycles of life work. We're constantly in every cycle. So that's why when we pay attention to, so Kali is talking about the endings and the beginnings, and new moons are great times for releasing the old. So the 3 days leading up to Friday, this is the moon energy where you release old habits. So this is a great time to do neurolinguistic programming, ritual, movement, dedicated movement, breath work, really releasing the old life and letting go of what no longer serves you. So the tarot reading for this week, to kind of help navigate how do we do this? We have 7 of Cups as the overall energy, and she's tilted directly to the left. And so this 7 of Cups, usually upright, is saying that you're kind of lost in the fantasy of it. And since we're starting the week off with a Pisces moon, Pisces is ruled by Neptune, which is very much living in the imaginational realm, which is very much about our dream world. And because it's moved exactly to the left always shows the intuitive path. It shows how do we navigate through our intuition instead of the right, which is usually about the ego, mind. And which path is not right or wrong, it's just how we use the energy. So the left is about being more intuitive on this cycle of fulfilling your fantasies, fulfilling your dreams, fulfilling your goals. It's like, how do I intuitively go for what I want, what my soul wants, how I really need to evolve? And this is going to really help with your new moon goal. So your new moon intention. So after you've released and spent time and Friday arrives, you have the chance to say yes to a new life, to a new beginning. But if you don't do the release, you're just going to keep wishing and trying to make a new beginning out of old things that don't really work. So that's what I'm trying to, this week, really spend time kind of purging and letting go. You don't have to do it at work. After you get out of work, spend the evening being in meditation or go to an ecstatic dance, something to move the energy out of your body. So then we have 10 of Cups, again, directly to the left. That's our conflict. And this is the conflict really being with community, the conflict being with family, with our tribe, with our coworkers, with the different personalities of us. As I've explained many times before, every relationship in a life is a reflection of something within us. And so when we're faced with people that, we don't really like hanging out with them or having to work with them, they just don't get me. There's a part of yourself that you need to understand and have compassion for. It's really hard sometimes. I'm not saying that this is some easy thing that, is just because this person has this quality doesn't have a direct that you are that. It's showing a type of quality in which you want or don't want. And that's fine. Having compassion for the fact that they have it, that they come from their own history, that they come from their own story. And it's not that you have to be their story. It's just that you have compassion for their story. And so ultimately this conflict is just like, how do I have more compassion for myself in other people's stories? Now the outcome to the week is reverse Priestess of Cups. Now, after the new moon, and after we've done all that releasing and maybe we have, and again, I want to say that on this new moon, it's also activating Chiron. So our wounded healer, the wounded part of our soul is going to be ignited and asked to be healed. The only time anything comes up or is really present in our life is because it's asking to have attention. When you have the repetitive thinking, or you're obsessed with someone, or you're, obsessed with a project or a conflict, or not having enough money, all these things that when we when they're kind of overwhelming our lives, it means we need to sit down and have a conversation with it, with the person that, we have trouble with, or there's a lot of different ways that we can approach it. But the fact is that it needs attention. Just like the screaming child that feels lost and alone, it needs attention. She needs to be told, or he needs to be told, that he is not alone, that, darling, I am here. Child, come with me. You're not alone. I am here. And this is why we grow up, so we can go back and remind those parts of ourselves that, they're not on the path alone. So why I'm saying all this is because by the end of the week, we may feel very vulnerable. New beginnings are not always as fun as some people think, because we don't know what to do. We've cleared so much energy, so much emotions, that we're like, oh wow, now that I don't have that baggage to hang on to, or I don't have that fear to keep me moving, what do I do now? So what this reverse priestess of cups shows is that, oh dear ones, it's all worth it. It's going to be okay. But what you need is a lot of love. You need to be surrounded by people. Or maybe you are overwhelmed by everyone in your life and you need to be alone. But don't be alone in the sense of I am all alone. Be alone to strengthen yourself. Go to the forest. Go weep under your favorite tree. This is your time to just release any pent over or old negativity in order to really boom, to really move forward. Now the unicorn card that's going to help us this week is about polarity. It says, integrate your shadow side. There can be no light without dark. Understand the law of polarity. And this is what I, was talking about earlier, is that all these different parts and relationships and community structures, the things that we hate about others, that's a part of ourselves. Do we really want to hate ourselves, or do we really want to hate someone? When we put that much anger and that much hate towards someone, it curses them. Like, imagine that your pain and your hatred can actually curse another person's life. Not only their life, but the life of all the people that's in their community, in their tribe, that they're involved with. That then you're radiating that negativity even more, not just as the one person, but to their surrounding tribe. And then that tribe gets impacted by you, and then that, it's just, so the more that we focus on compassion and love and, releasing people to be their own. We often try and control others because we think we know best. And probably we do, but that's not up to us to decide. So, I digress. This is a time of powerful healing. April is a really powerful month. Make sure to tune in to my April mooncast for the month ahead. I'll talk more about the new moons and full moons and the void moons and all the retrogrades that are happening this month. I know we just got out of Mercury retrograde, but now we're going in deeper. So this is a time to do a lot of inner work so your outer work will be visible to the world. Now, if you want to learn more about how the moons are going to affect you, you can tune into make sure to subscribe to my blog, Ritual Magic, and you can learn about your moon forecasts for the week with moonscopes. Also, if you're going on your own transformation journey and want a coaching session with me, you can contact me at hello@nicolemarie.eu, or you can find me on my website at www.nicolemarie.eu. Until then, dear hearts, be brave, for we are in a time of great transformation. And just trust that I am a message away. Blessed, blessed, blessed be.